Welcome to Local Point, your life, your stories, with your host, Chris Piner.
Welcome to Local Point. I'm your host, Chris Piner. Today we welcome the new Forest Supervisor for the Ashley National Forest, Jeff Schramm. Welcome, Jeff.
Well, thank you. It's an opportunity to be here today with you and discuss the future of the Ashley.
Well, very good. Let's talk a little bit about you first.
Okay.
Can you give us just a little bit of your background and what brought you here?
Sure. I grew up in Utah. I was born in Payson, Utah. And then I graduated from Utah State University in forest management. And so that started me down the path of working for the Forest Service. My first job was on the Bridger-Teton National Forest in Wyoming. And I worked there on their timber crew. And then after I graduated from college, I went to Idaho and worked up on the Boise National Forest for a while, again working in vegetation management, mainly working with timber cells. Went up onto the Clearwater from there. Was my first permanent position that I got with the Forest Service. That was a few years ago, but definitely a time that I really enjoyed in my career. And I went through my career doing a lot with timber management, a lot with logging, and then I looked at the opportunity to become a ranger. So I applied for a couple of ranger positions, and I took one on the Ashley. That was my first ranger position that I took. I was the district ranger up at Flaming Gorge. And so I was there for about 5 years and really enjoyed. I've always wanted to work on the Ashley, and so that was an opportunity for me to come and to work on the Ashley. And so I was there, like I said, for 5 years, and then I went and was the ranger down on the Heber-Camas Ranger District at Heber. And so I was there for roughly 7 years, and this opportunity presented itself to come back and to be the Forest Supervisor on the Ashley. So I applied for it, because I've always enjoyed the Ashley and just extremely excited to be back here and to work on the Ashley and be in this part of the Utah.
Well, good. This worked then. It was one of your goals, and you made it.
Oh, yeah. It was one of the goals that I've had, and I've definitely enjoyed the people in this area and the folks that we have as far as employees on the forest. And so when I saw the opportunity to come back, I jumped at it and was just extremely excited to be able to come back and to work on the Ashley National Forest.
I think that's a good fit then when someone really wants to be here. Over the years, as I've been able to interview people who work with the Forest Service, it's always fascinating to hear your journey. It'd be interesting to map it out and see where you've been and where you've worked. If you ever have a chance to talk to any of these people, that's a great question. I love it. I love it. Now you're here, and what is it that brought you here other than the fact that you wanted to be here? A job must have opened.
Yeah, John Erickson was the current was the previous Forest Supervisor that was working here, and so John is retiring, and so that's what gave me the opportunity to come out here. And so John is retiring, like I said, at the end of this month.
So you're able to cross over and work together a little bit.
We had a period of time where we were shadowing. I was shadowing John, and so that was great. So he could introduce me to some folks that I don't know in the area, and to bring me up to speed on some of the projects that we have taking place and other activities that are happening on the Ashley National Forest.
And what a great way to do it, to bring you here to Local Point and introduce you to our viewing audience. Now, you always have something going on. You, not specifically, but the forest, there's something going on. There are plans and events and things happening. Oftentimes we talk about winter time opportunities in the forest and summertime opportunities. What's currently cooking?
So one of with the forest, we go through and we identify some priorities that we want to work on for the forest for the next few years. And
we're about a minute here.
Okay, so for what we're currently looking at for our number one priority that we're focusing on for the next 4 years is our forest plan revision. And so we'll be working on it for the next 4 years, and that will be our number one priority through that time.
Wonderful, and that's something that might even take a little bit of public input. Do you seek that kind of thing for this?
Yeah, we definitely will be looking. We've had town meetings already that took place this past fall, and so we met up in Wyoming and also in Utah, and then there will be other opportunities for the public to come and comment on how they want to see their national forest managed.
Well, I want to talk a little bit more about that, and we'll do that right after this break. Welcome back to Local Point. Before the break, we were discussing Jeff, our new Forest Supervisor of Ashley National Forest. We had the opportunity to hear a little bit of your journey and your desire to be here in this neck of the woods, so to speak. But we also talked a little bit about a 4-year plan. Can we just jump back into that? And
so what we were discussing is, as far as the National Forest, we have what we call a forest plan, what gives us direction as far as how we manage a particular chunk of area. And so our current forest plan is fairly old, and it's time for it to be revisited. So now we're in the process of doing that revision and looking at, is there a way that we want to continue on managing a particular chunk of country, or we want to look at it a little differently? So this gives us an opportunity to freshen up that forest plan that we have and have a new one that will give us the guidance and direction as to how we'll look at managing our national forests.
Now, you mentioned that you've had some public meetings, and there may be some more. And so you're getting public input about maybe things that could be run better or changes that people would like to see. Is that how that works?
Yeah, so what we go through, there's different phases of the plan that we'll go through. And in each phase, we'll reach out to the public and give them the opportunity to look. Like, we're currently working on our draft assessment of currently what does it look like out there on the forest. And so we'll send that out to the public here shortly. And then when we do that, we'll give the public an opportunity to comment on that and say, yes, we agree with it, or maybe, you know, here's something that we see a little bit differently. And so then we'll evaluate their comments. But with all of those different phases in the plan, we'll have meetings in which we'll outreach to the public and say, you know, come in and meet with us. Let's have some dialogue, you know, that this is an opportunity to provide.
Generally done with the local area, or where it's a national forest? Do you somehow appeal to people across the nation?
So the majority of our meetings will be held, you know, in the Utah area and up in Wyoming, where part of the Ashley National Forest does go up into Wyoming.
Right.
So that'll give us an opportunity to canvass the folks up on the Wyoming side as far as how they see management of the national forest. But we will be dealing just with our town meetings, not too many in Salt Lake City. But outside of Salt Lake, I don't see that we would have any meetings outside of Utah.
Otherwise, just electronic communication,
right,
or just through website.
And that's always, people have the
email
opportunity to communicate through us through electronically too.
Anytime.
If they can't make it to a meeting that we held at night or something, that
Right.
they could send us an email. They could get on our Forest Service webpage and take a look at it. And there's a link that talks about forest planning to where they could get on it, send any comments that they may have, or see what part of the process that we are in and when those next meetings would be held.
Wonderful. Can you give us an idea of some of the things that that you have in mind for the plan, or is that too complex to cover?
Well, it's a plan that we don't want to be so specific that it tells us exactly what it does. More what we can do on the land, but more of, you know, how is it that we want to see our national forest?
Right.
How do we keep those ecosystems functioning to where they're healthy? You know, it's natural for trees to die, but then how do we deal with those? It's natural for fire.
Sure.
How do we deal with fires when it's on the landscape? And so that's what that plan will give us some direction. And then we'll do site-specific analysis where we would say, how do we want to go more into detail on managing that particular chunk of land?
Is this something that is coinciding with you just coincidentally coming in now, or is this something that you're really taking a look at and wanting to do?
No, this is something that was in the process before I got
already.
here.
You're just lucked out.
Yeah, I got the opportunity to come in and to work on it. And so there's other forests within our region, which is a larger area with national forests, that are also working on their forest plan at the same time.
All right. Now, in case our viewers want to know some of the things that are going on, we don't have time today to talk about them, but could they reference some of the things that are happening over the winter?
I'm not sure.
On a Facebook, or excuse me, a web page, or your office, or some other way?
You bet. Like, you know, they had the opportunity, they could come into any of our offices and talk to our district rangers that are there, or to tie in with me if they'd like. Again, I mentioned our web page is something that they could go to and take a look at, but there's always that opportunity to give us a phone call or to stop by if they'd like.
And these are just the regular wintertime activities in the forest to bring the public in to enjoy, maybe cutting a Christmas tree?
Yeah, we still have Christmas tree tags available. It's getting close to Christmas, so you probably want to hurry.
Yes.
And then, you know, with the snow coming, the forecast is we're going to be getting some snow this week. So then that'll be changing a little bit of how people can access the forest. You know, a lot of roads have been open, but as the snow starts to come down and accumulates, then there will be a lot of roads that will be closing and then converting over to skiing or snowmobile use or whatever activities takes place in that area.
Perfect. Well, good wrap up. Jeff, welcome to the area.
All right.
Welcome to the forest, back to this part of the forest anyway. And we appreciate having you here and informing us today.
All righty. Well, thank you. And I look forward to other opportunities to communicate with you.
I do too. And thank you for watching Local Point. Stay tuned for this week's community calendar.
Well, it's good to see you guys. Welcome to this week's community calendar brought to you by the Vernal Area Chamber of Commerce, building commerce one member at a time. Let's get right into this weekend schedule, shall we? On both Friday and Saturday, December 16th and 17th, we've got the Vernal Theater Live presenting A Christmas Carol. You know the story, Charles Dickens. You got Cratchit, and you've got Ebenezer Scrooge. Well, they've got night performances at 7 p.m., both that Friday and Saturday. And then on Saturday, they've got a matinee at 1:30. Great way to get into the holiday spirit if you aren't already in it. Also on Friday, there's the Teen Lockdown at the Uintah County Library. The theme is Do You Believe? It's a fun night filled with stories and activities for the kids, the teens. They're kind of kids still, right? On Saturday, December 17th, the Community First Annual Festival of Nativity is going on. That runs from noon to 8 p.m. at the Roosevelt Christian Assembly. There's going to be nativity sets with members from the community in them, live music, a community sing-along. Go have a good time. Now taking a look into the next week, that's December 19th through the 25th. Monday, December 19th, we don't have a thing up here, but it is your final chance to see A Christmas Carol. They've got one last performance. They added it due to popular demand, 7 p.m. on Monday. Wednesday, December 21st, Uintah and Duchesne County, school starts, so there's a big winter break. Hey, go to Disneyland. Or not, because I think that's where like half of Utah goes. But have fun with your kids. Thursday, December 22nd now, the Sports Spin on VTV6. You can see our hosts, Mark Mason and John Nurden, talking all about Basin sports. And then on Saturday, December 24th, hey, it's Christmas Eve. And there's a really cool thing that goes on. It's called Helping Hands Christmas Eve Dinner. It starts at Western Park at 5 p.m. And people go out and they deliver dinner to those who may not have a Christmas Eve dinner. You can have dinner delivered to you if you'd like. You can call Tanya Craven at 621-2280 for more information. You could probably get a hold of her as well if you want to volunteer. We've done it before. It's a lot of fun. A great way to get into the true meaning of the holidays. Now let's get into our weekend weather. Taking a look here, Friday, oh look at that, we got little rainfall, maybe some dusting of snow as well. It's all day, the chance of rain and snow, with a high near 38 and a nighttime low of 14. Saturday, mostly sunny with a high near 23. Some clouds still in there, but Sunday, clouds pretty much go away. You've got a high near 20 and a low of 8. With those clouds, when they go away, oftentimes what happens is they have a tendency to keep things a little warmer. They go away and something gets really cold, and that's what's going to happen. Into next week now. The week lows averaging mid to low teens, and some nights seeing single digits. Ugh. But then you see we've got a chance of precipitation coming back again on Friday and Saturday. The more snow we get, the better. That's what I say. If it's going to be cold, you might as well have some snow, right? That's all we have time for this week in the community calendar. If you have an event coming up, let us know at 435-781-1902. Don't know how this is going to help you. I see it in the prompter and whatever. You can leave a comment as well on Facebook. Thank you for watching. Like VTV6 on Facebook, and we'll see you here next week.